Hey, yo, what is up, everybody? It is the Further Beyond podcast featuring I like to call myself the King Hitman. Sometimes I get the Prophet, every once in a while, but it got stripped from me, so it's fine. Can't go by that anymore. Then I have the GOAT man, the best co-host I could ask for in the Mr. Greg Dog. Greg, how we doing, man?
We're good. We're good.
We proceed with the episode. The group gets stopped by the Gendarmerie police force, Goma's police force.
Yes.
They stop them. They say, "Yo, land now!" Like it's like we're pulling you over. And they park. They search the plane. They say, "Get out!" They're throwing all their stuff out the plane. Like this is a real hostile search. Goku is in the plane. He does a little. He's like, "Yo, just it's cool. Like just step out, and then I'll be okay." They get in the plane. Next thing you know, Goku instant transmissions behind Pansy and Shin, who we're gonna address that name sooner or later.
Oh yeah.
And Pansy just was completely stunned. Like she doesn't understand the idea of ki. She's trying to like now the difference between ki and magic is becoming more apparent each episode. Do you think magic should be considered its own form of ability by the end of the series? Do you think they're going to keep drawing that line, or do you think it's really more or less the same thing with different terminology?
For now, I think it's the same thing with different terminology. I think it's very much that kind of magic is science we don't understand, so to speak, or magic is key we don't have
Okay.
control over, or whatever the case may be. I think that's what it is now, unless later in the series we get a magic user who the Goku, Vegeta, whoever the fight may be between or whatever, unless they can't handle it and they don't know how to, like, unlike Goku who kind of nullified that blast last episode, if for some reason in that scene Goku was like, I can't touch this lightning because it, like, I can make all the key barriers and all the defensive moves I like, but magic is just a different beast to me. I don't understand it. And likewise, if Glorio was like, I don't understand how to stop a Kamehameha, but I know how to stop my own key blast. Like that's when I think the differences really would start to show. Kind of almost like that Superman logic, where Superman is like invulnerable to everything except for magic and kryptonite. You know what I mean? Like it's a specific type of energy. But for now, I think
Yeah,
it's more or less the
that's
same.
what I'm curious about.
Yeah, I'd like it to be different. I'd like it to have special properties and special uses, and it looks like it's probably more useful than Ki. I'm not sure, given what Nahare or sorry, what Shin did to the collar there.
No, don't do that to me. Don't take that.
Uh,
You have enough. All right, this week is
um,
taking enough.
but no, I'd like them to be a little bit different later in the series when we see them throw a bit more variety out there. But speaking of the magic in that scene, we saw Glorio pretty much just gloves off when it comes to
One shot.
magic, and
Yeah.
he's like punches have lightning coming off him. He's going for it, and it was interesting to see like the more melee or up close and personal attacks having his magic embedded in them. I thought that was a really cool way to be like, yeah, no, we know what he can do now, and he's going to just keep doing it. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was good to watch, and yeah, and
Yeah.
Shin getting the fisticuffs on and about.
Yeah, that so basically the story proceeded as they search the plane, they recognize Pansy, and they're like, I have a theory you're the person that threw that dud of a grenade and was defiant when we were collecting the gold coins from the people. And as you said, all of that happens. Emphasis on I didn't think Supreme Kai was gonna throw too many hands,
Neither did
and
I, and I'm very happy
I
he did.
like the fact, yes, I'm very happy he did it because one thing I always complained about just throughout my Dragon Ball life, right, which is my whole life, is Supreme Kai. They swear he's so powerful and he doesn't really do much. He doesn't ever take anybody down. It's not really a threatening presence. I don't really feel like, oh my gosh, can the bad guy get past Shin? It's more like, can they get past Gohan? Can they get past
Yeah,
Piccolo?
yeah,
And so we see here they're trying to make sure we still, put two and two together. Shin can handle business if he needs to. Anything light, like Shin's still on that. But with Glorio, I like that they are keeping Glorio a serious character, even in the midst of all this. Even when he's got his little moments, he's caught off guard by Goku's weirdness, right? His bizarre character. Shin, as soon as it gets to it, as soon as hands need to be thrown, Shin is out, or not Shin, I'm sorry, Glorio is out there handling whatever needs to be handled. And so this, like you said, he's using his magic. He even one shots a plane with like a lightning strike, right? That was really
It's
cool.
kind of like that force
Shin.
push. I think he used that on Boo. I think that's what he used on
Oh
Boo
yeah.
when he was
Did I
saving
say Shin?
Gohan.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Shin does he does like the force push, yeah, where the screen is blurred, distorted, and then
Yeah, yeah.
Glorio does
Oh,
a
sorry,
lightning
Gloria. Yeah,
strike that also one taps a plane. So they both handle business. Goku throws a small little key blast. The trio, the scene is more silent, right? We level down. One wait, it's been there for episodes, right? One thing is these collars that are on the entirety of the demon world, especially well in the third world. Pansy states, I don't even know if, basically, I don't know if I feel safe traveling with you guys
yeah, yeah.
because
Yep.
every single time we move, they're gonna know where I'm at because they scanned my collar. And Shin asked, what? Let me look at it. Do you mind if I look at it?
No, go for it.
Scans it himself. Oh yeah, it's made out of kachin, which is the same metal that broke the Z sword in the Majin Buu saga.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
one
That
that helped
that
release the
cube.
old Kai.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And so Shin is like, I might be able to break this. He breaks it pretty easily, and we get some backstory. Can you tell them what they took from me? Can you tell them the backstory, the audience, real quick, of what they took from me, Greg? I had something that I had been waiting to get confirmed for the whole series until last week, and tell them what they did to me.
Are you talking about the tree thing again?
Well, that too, but Shin, bro, it is just what
His
they
name.
changed his name to what? Yeah, go
So
ahead,
his
boo.
real name is Nahare,
Oh my
Nahare.
gosh.
So he's from a family where the three siblings, at least we know of, is Nahare. Oh, wait, Arinsu's the eldest, isn't she? So it's Arinsu,
Yes.
then Nahare, and then Degasu. I'm not sure how many are in between or either side because again they were born from trees and whatnot. But that is his real name. I'm not sure now where Shin comes from because obviously Supreme
That's
Kai
a
is his
great question.
title.
I was waiting. Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
don't know. They keep calling him Shin. I looked it up, and Shin is a translation for something random. It's not necessarily like it's not like Kami, which translates to God. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing that makes sense to me in terms of like, oh, that's why they call him
Oh,
that.
okay. Like it's a name flip, like say Kakarot is carrot, or you can't
Yeah,
figure
yeah.
out what
It's
the
not.
correct. Okay,
I think
okay.
there was like four words that it could directly translate to, and I don't know what the kanji specifically is for Shin to sort of tell you what it is. But the words were very innocuous. It wasn't anything being like it wasn't like holy or deity or anything
Okay.
related to his
Okay.
position. So I don't know where Shin now comes from. Um,
I
that's just
wish it would
his.
go back wherever it came from. That would make me a lot of,
Yeah,
make
because if
me a
he's
lot
just Supreme
happier.
Kai and Nahare, then that makes sense to me. He's got his birth name and his title, I guess. But
Well, I
um,
meant Nahari. I can't. This Nahari thing is gonna take me a
oh
while.
right,
I'm not gonna lie, people. I'm gonna have to call him Shin. I've been waiting. I was waiting the whole series for them to confirm, like for him to straight up address his name being Shin. I thought maybe they would do it in the second world. Maybe the Glens,
yeah,
his people, his clan would just only call him Shin. They don't recognize him as Supreme Kai in terms of like he's family, right? Like he's little bro, he's nephew, he's
yeah,
son,
yeah.
whatever. And before we even get that far, we are emphasizing the third world dynamic, which we're about to get into for a little Glorio moment. But I just feel violated. It's all right. It
Well, yeah.
happens. But I
So
have to keep calling him Shin for a little while.
when he runs into his siblings, they're going to be like, "Oh, hello, Nahare." Like that's how they're going to be.
Nahare.
We
Oh
thought they
my
were going to greet
gosh.
him by saying like, "Oh, g'day, Shin. How you going?" But no,
Yeah,
apparently it's
it's
Nahare. So
exactly it.
that is what it is. The only little nugget that I thought was maybe worth mentioning, and I'm not sure how much to read into this either, but when they were talking about the metal and how it only comes from the planet in the second demon world that the Glins originate from.
Yes.
The fact that they said that it is a planet within the second demon realm was the kind of the point of note to me, which would assume that it's maybe like a solar system at the very
Oh,
least,
I
as
didn't even
opposed to
peep.
being
Okay.
as opposed to being a land. Like I look at the third demon realm right now, and it's basically a land. I don't think there's space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go higher than the sky, and you get greeted by the fish who goes, where do you want to go? That's how I'm imagining it right now, at least. And if you go too low, you
Yeah.
just go into perpetual darkness. Like I think it is a bit of a flat Earth situation, if that makes sense. Whereas the second, he said, yeah, that metal that the collars are made out of come from the planet that the
The
glins
Glens. Yeah,
come
go ahead.
from within the second demon realm. So I imagine then there might be even a planet Namek, I guess, an original planet Namek.
Oh, okay.
That's what
Okay.
I'm wondering
So
because I was thinking they might
I
be
could
like
see
little
that.
towns in the same sort of thing as the third world. Like there's
Yeah.
the Namek town, there's the Glind Tree town, there's a few others, but maybe it is more of a solar system type setup.
Interesting to see how we're gonna get into it because we know that. Well, I shouldn't say know that. Last week there was a segment where we spoke about how there was a real close connection between the ships that I saw near the Glen trees in that frame
I need to
and
go back and look at that. Yeah.
The Namek spaceship that was in like Dragon Ball Z, early Z,
Yeah.
when they go to Namek, the ship that Bulma uses to take Krillin and
Yeah,
Gohan to
with the
Namek,
pointy
those
feet and
ships look
the bug
really,
eyes. Yeah.
yes, yes, they look really similar. So I think it was giving traction towards the theory that the Nameks serve the Glens. I have a personal theory, a headcanon, like a full one that I went into last week. Y'all get into that if y'all want to. But that the Nameks were serving the Glens and they just didn't like being told what to do because Piccolo mentioned that in the start of the series. They're peaceful, they do not like being ordered around. And so anyway, back to the main plot. Shin Nahare, oh my gosh, breaks the collar. Pansy's ecstatic. But before Shin does that, I have to just, for this episode, let me have this, please. And Glorio, she says something like, what did she say
She says,
exactly?
it's
Those,
it's basically like, oh, everyone in the third world has to go get one on, or they're killed. And
yes,
in a split
yes,
second, they cut to Glorio, and he just kind of peeps over his shoulder, and that's it. As he's walking
yes.
onto the ship. There's nothing deeper than that. But there was a look, and I don't think they would have showed that without any reason to.
Yeah, this is great. I love this. This is narrative focus. So they're telling us something slight right there. I had a little theory, Arinsu is the one who distributed these collars along when it was under the reign of Demon King Deborah. I
Do they
think that
confirm that, or was that just
yeah, yeah.
Nahare's
It's
theory?
when Shin is talking about his sister, he says back when Deborah was
Oh, okay.
Supreme Demon King, like they have that conversation, that back and
I
forth
thought that
right
might have been
there.
my translations then. I think it said something like I would. I thought he was saying I would imagine that would be Arinsu under Deborah, like his suspicion. But if they confirmed it, they confirmed it.
Yeah, well, he says it was probably my sister. I
Yeah.
think
Okay.
that okay, I understand. So yeah, I get more what you're saying now. I took it more directly as like a statement. But yeah, so they have that and I have a theory with that headcanon of just assuming it was a Rinsu that she broke or maybe never gave one to Glorio because Glorio is clearly in communication with her. But Glorio, I think he had one on. I think she offered him something to break it and give him more freedom.
Ooh. Okay.
And maybe that's when he became the more second in command, or at least he answers to her at a certain price or reward. And that is going to be something we have to get into later on, which is why when she's breaking down the explanation of the collar, he gets a little like, I don't even want to hear the rest of this conversation. And he walks back into the ship. Do you think there's
I
anything to it, or do you
I
think they'll
like
just have
that
to get
because
into it
that's not
later?
how I was thinking. That's completely different to what I was thinking of actually. And before I let you know what I was kind of leaning towards, one thing I will say about Glorio is that he takes everything that's going on as seriously as it would need to, despite the fact that he's obviously got ulterior motives. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
when he's sitting down having food with everyone, he's relaxing and he's joining in conversation. When things are like a threat to all of them, it's a threat to all of them. You know what I mean? Like he's at least showing care for whether or not they're like hostages, unbeknownst to
Yeah, like he's just
themselves.
misleading them.
Yeah, who knows? But
But
he's still taking it
yeah,
seriously enough. If they need to hide Goku, they need to hide Goku. It's not there's not like, hey, actually this could benefit me if Goku gets caught or anything. It's like, well, no, I have a mission. Everyone around me needs to be safe. They're going to be safe, irrespective of what maybe my ulterior motives are. But the other thing I thought of when Glorio had his little moment of shadow, I guess, I thought maybe he might be he might have formerly been the guy to put the collars on for Arinsu. Like I
Ooh,
thought he might be like
okay.
not the executioner, so to speak, but that kind of thing. Like her second in command, who she's made them, and Deborah is kind of like, yes, I approve, put these on, and Glorio is like the face of, or maybe he doesn't, maybe he wears a mask, I don't know, but he's the one applying them to the third demon realm. So he's maybe a little bit guilty himself. I'm not sure whether he's going to have like the double agent kind of crack, where maybe he decides that he's done too much bad and then he comes around and
Yeah.
it's a bit of a gamma 1 and 2 almost, if that makes sense. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. We're definitely gonna have to get into it later. The series is making it more and more obvious that Glorio, he is the isolated member of the group. Like he's just,
Yes.
we're waiting to find out exactly what he's doing, and I think we'll just find out much, much later. But I like that right there.